Okay, so this episode is apparently going to be a bit different from what we usually do.
Yeah, we have not read this script, at all. This is just as new for you as it is for us.
We're also doing this in a single take, no matter what, so if we break or curse, then so be it.
Wait, so does that mean I can say really offensive things and then just blame it on the writer?
Yes, you have that freedom.
Awesome.
However, I also have the freedom to beat you to death with a brick if you do.
Less awesome.
Now, cut to the intro. We have shit to say. That was scripted!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Newslink, the greatest news show to ever be produced, second only to The Onion, a legitimate source of reliable information.
Oh my god, Jeremiah, why would you say that?
Because it is what I 100% believe in. I am not reading this off of a prompter. This is just my correct opinion.
Well, this sadly isn't Newslink. This is the real deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news network. I'm your host, Milo, spelled with a Y.
And I'm Dawson, also known as Snake Boy.
And speaking of entertainment news, we're going to start this show by reading off some legitimate 100% real news headlines.
I'll start because I'm better than you. From AP News, Instagram famous squirrel named Peanut seized by New York State authorities. They grabbed the bastard during a raid that also captured a raccoon named Fred. They were taken by officers from the Department of Environmental Conservation, and the Peanut and Fred's owner, a man named Longo, has said, quote, "I don't know if Peanut is alive. The DEC declined to answer questions about whether either animal was euthanized."
Well, I hope they were. I hate the smell of... I hate the small animals. The cuter they are, the more they deserve to be put down like the filthy animals they are.
And on that fun note, we will cut to the first segment. And I remember this quote from Mr. Peanut: "You can't spell nutrition without nut."
Well, that was quite a fascinating news story from AP News. I feel quite intimidated by the offhanded grotesqueness of it all. However, I feel equipped and confident that I can top it with an informative yet outlandish story of my own.
Milo with a Y? Why are you talking like that?
Because, Chris, I'm notoriously terrible at reading colossal words and sentences. So I've agreed to mythological Trial by Fire. I will be reading off my news story with a much complicated vocabulary of physical possibilities.
Serve Monarch. Snaps fingers.
Indubitably, from NPR, the most disseminated information collective to ever touch down on this planet, we have this story. Watch your garden glow with a new genetically modified petunias.
Sounds wordy.
Precisely. It's just the way I prefer it. And in order to stay true to my goal and to this story, I'm just going to read two extended quotes from it. Keith Wood, PhD, spent most of his career in the pharmaceutical research in molecular and chemical biology, using his work with bioluminescence to understand how molecules interact with diseases. Seth, I swear to God, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, you don't mean that.
You're right, I don't. I love Seth. Seth is Purvis. He may possibly be the greatest individual to ever be created. Every day, I pray and thank the pescatarian spaghetti monster that he exists.
Such touching, true words. Now how about that second quote?
Affirmative. The first gene takes a modable and turns it into an intermediate. Wood explains, the second gene takes the intermediate and turns it into the actual fuel of the bioluminescence the third gene is what actually makes the light, and then the last gene takes the product from the light reaction and recycles it back to the starting point.
And with that, we can move on to the next segment.
Hippopotamosis.
What's poppin', fam dogs? It's Seth, and I'm back to give everyone a funny little story to make them forget about the woes of the world around us. So in the spirit of doing that, today, I'm going to talk about the Headless Valley. So for those unaware, the Nahanni River Valley, colloquially known as the Headless Valley, is an extremely remote valley in the Northwestern Territory of Canada. And our story starts in this valley in the far back year of 1906, when brothers Willie and Frank McLeod heard about gold in the valley during the Klondike Gold Rush and went canoeing into that valley. 2 years later, people went looking for them, and after never hearing from them, and found their headless corpses. Yep. They then returned home and told the story to everyone, and then all people heard from that story was gold. Repeat this for about a century, and yeah, that's about the story of this valley. No, I'm not kidding. Yes, this is real. It happened in 1917, 1927, 1928, 1931, 1936, and 1945. Over and over and over again, people, usually prospectors whose name are now lost to the annals of time, were found decapitated and sometimes lit on fire. So safe to say, I know where I'm moving after I graduate.
All right, after having some fun reading some weird but true news stories, we are next going to read off some quotes from last season without any of context surrounding them.
Oh boy, this sounds like it's going to be a wild ride.
From episode 5 of season 21, we have this quote from our host of the podcast, Rosemary. "We need to stop people from doing drugs. That's the only issue with the American prison industrial complex, nothing else."
Wow, it seems like Rosemary has quite the odd digital footprint. However, I think our talent producer Dawson has her beat with this quote. "I like to kick cats, especially wounded cats. I don't think they've been wounded enough. Extra points if they're blind."
Wow, harsh words. That could definitely ruin someone's future job opportunities.
I actually agree with that one. I'm scared of cats. Terrified.
Aw, you are just a scared widow person, aren't you, Uwu?
Yes. Now on to our last segment where we give a special announcement.
Today is actually a very important day for America. Milo with a Y, can you guess why? Ha! That rhymed. Our head writer is so clever and smart and handsome.
Election day?
More important than that.
Gee willikers, Jeremiah, what could be more important than election day?
It's Seth Purvis's birthday. Today, happy birthday, Seth.
Oh, that's why we've been forced to praise him for this episode.
Yes, that is why. Seth has a fragile ego and doesn't feel appreciated enough, so he's using whatever small amounts of control he has to strogarm us into satiating his desires for affection.
And because today is his birthday, because we're definitely filming this on his birthday and not the day after, he gets away with this unapologetic praise of himself.
Exactly, Milo with a Y. However, if either of us was being honest, he doesn't need to do this.
No, like everyone in our generation, he just needs therapy. Either way, Seth,
Happy birthday from your friends at The Real Deal.
2024 is like a leaf, once green and fresh amongst all the other leaves, starting the new day strong and as ever, thinking it will stay this green forever. But that's impossible, really. As the months pass by, more harsh weather starts to emerge. Fall is growing closer and closer as more of the little leaves, friends and family are either blown away, cut off, or even just withered out. When fall comes, we are excited for not just the leaves falling, but rather the crushing beneath our feet, you know?
Hello, everyone. This is Jeremiah doing my outro for Ball State's The Real Deal, your primary news network. This is going to be totally improv. Today is November 6th, a Wednesday, 2024. So, with that being said, I just have one thing to say to all the people of America. Bring the camera closer. Bring it closer. Bring it real close. I have one thing to say to you all. Taylor Swift should have won. Taylor Swift should have won the election.